a little bit of extra pressure where my mom is like, like shield your little sister, like try and be the big sister, like, because if you understand what's going on, don't let it affect her too much, So, I mean, I used to be brilliant in school, but there was a point in time where like my grades were tanking, and even my headmistress was like, no, if what it is, no, this is not normal,
Wow.
So like we got called into like school meetings. I started acting up a little bit, at school. I remember there was once in a boarding house. I got into an altercation with somebody, and I waited till she was asleep, and I took a razor and I shaved off her eyebrows. And the headmistress, when they told the headmistress that it was Afua Dede that did that, she was like, no.
No,
She said no,
no
like 3 times.
way.
Like, no, no. It was like, pick somebody else, pick somebody else.
Hi everyone, welcome to Truly Talkative Podcast. I'm your host, Eno Kwegren. I thought I knew like 100%.
98%.
What is this?
There's a reason for everything, but there's not a justification for everything.
No, let me start going. Where I'm coming from.
That day is like I'm playing and they come here. Come here. Yes, you.
Hi guys, as you can see, a big grin on my face. I'm so excited about today's guest. But before we dive into today's conversation, please go and subscribe. I feel like I've said this, like you people are dragging your feet. Go and subscribe right now. And if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, welcome back. So I'm your host, Eno Kwegren, and this is Truly Talkative. And today I have Afua Dede.
Yes.
She is a private chef,
Mhm.
a mom of two. Or is it
Well, three.
yes, three.
Selassie. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, a mom of three. A mom of three. Okay, I like that. A mom of three.
Yeah.
And then okay, you know what? We'll talk about how we know each other. But yeah, welcome, Afua.
Thank you, Eno. Thanks for having me.
So, how have you been actually? How have you been?
I have been, last week I wasn't too well. I was a little ill physically, but emotionally, I've been very tired.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just frustrated with a little bit, like a couple of things.
Like what?
The what are they calling it? Localized faults.
What are they look? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
the
So
doom
system.
saw
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just basically I had exams this week at Legon.
What
And
what was that?
okay, so this is interesting, and I feel like we'll also get into this, but I never actually finished my degree. I never actually finished my bachelor's. So Legon is doing like an amnesty program where they opened the portal and they said, listen, anyone that should have been in school in the past 10 years, I think it was from 2012 up to whenever, we've opened the portal, come and register and come and finish.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I remember I had gone like on a kiddie date with a couple of my other classmates and friends, and everyone's we're catching up because some of them don't live in Ghana. We're catching up and, we're proud of each other. We like, look at us, we're old, we have kids now, you're doing this, you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like feeling a little bit sorry for myself. And I'm like, yeah, but you guys are all, like educated and I'm a school dropout. And they have the same reaction and they're like, don't be silly. But I'm like, it's true. And I'm like, sorry, don't judge me, guys. I'm like, I wish I could pay someone, for this thing, but that's not me. That's not the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
And one of them goes, I think I saw something in the newspaper, like you should follow up and check it out.
Okay.
And lo and behold, I did. And then they were like, yeah,
okay,
you can. So I registered. So last semester I did 4 courses, and this semester was a little bit more overwhelming because I was trying to pack everything and finish at once, which in hindsight was a little bit of a mistake. So this semester I had 6 courses.
Okay.
Yeah, but so I was writing the exam for one of them earlier last week, and it was just frustration. So frustration. First of all, when we got there, they said we were too many for the venue. I mean, but you knew the numbers before.
Exactly.
You knew who has registered.
Numbers,
you knew that. So that was number 1. Number 2, the exam was online. So when we were signing in, even the software was giving a prompt like, this software is over 1 year old. You may encounter problems with your exam. So that kept popping up. And lo and behold, we did. It kept glitching. It would freeze. They would tell us to wait. We kept restarting our machines.
Going on.
Yes. And it's an hour exam, right? Because it's multiple choice.
Yeah.
And so I remember my PC started glitching around when I was like 44 minutes left. So I was about, let's say, 15 minutes into the exam.
Yeah.
Glitch. Not just me though, like everybody.
Yeah.
And then when it finally comes back on, the time was not restarted. So it finally comes back on and it's like 18 minutes. It's 18 minutes, and then I have like how many more questions? Like 40 more questions or something to go.
Are you kidding me?
And so everyone is like on edge, everyone is tense, and everyone is just trying to do what they can.
Mm-hmm.
So I rushed through it, only for them to say, oh, we're giving the option for anyone who wants to restart all over again. Okay, so I'm like, oh, so you want me to be here like another hour?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of like my circumstances. Yeah. You don't know where I'm coming from. You don't know what's going on. The lady next to me was like, no, I can't stay. I came all the way from Salt Pond, Cape Coast.
Can you imagine?
And like people have planned their lives.
Yeah.
This is not acceptable for Ghana's premier university.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like I've been a bit frustrated with like stuff happening in my life, and it's just, you know, adjusting. And I promised myself I would stop complaining. Because everyone's just like, yeah, bro, you're not the first to move to Ghana. Like, it's okay. I did promise I would stop complaining, but it's like every time
it's still happening.
I try to progress, something still happens to kind of like, you know.
I mean, like, we are all feeling it. We all feeling it. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's jump into your childhood. Okay. So, Afua, do you have any siblings?
I do.
Okay.
I have a younger sister. We're about 3.5 years apart.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm born in June. She's born in December. So it's exactly 3.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So same mother, same father.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a 2-parent household?
1.5, 1, 2, sometimes. I know you're like, what does that mean?
Like, yeah. So from infancy up until whenever the 1.5 started, it was a 2-parent house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so your dad, I mean, I know your dad was a pilot, right?
Yeah. So my dad was a pilot, and I mean, he tried his best, but he wasn't always around.
Mm-hmm.
And so
because of his job.
Yeah, because of his job. So initially my mom was an air hostess as well. So that's how they met. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I was conceived in a plane or something. I don't know. But yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom, she used to fly up until I turned maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So younger me is used to like my grandmother. Yeah. Like my mom's mom. But yeah. Yeah.
So you grew up with your grandma? Your grandma?
I grew up with my parents, but grandma was around more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because sometimes, like those days, they would go for international flights. Sometimes they would stay 4 days, 10 days, you know, like, and again, I will reiterate, like, even though my dad did try his best, obviously he wasn't around as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then my parents got divorced when I was about 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah. So then it moved to the one. Okay. But it was still
so not to rush it. Like, so your mom was an air hostess, so you were like what, 7?
Yeah, till I was 7.
7, and then stopped completely.
And then stopped flying.
And then decided to come. And then so now you had your mom at home.
Yes.
And was your grandma also still in the house, or so it was now just your mom, and then your dad was like in and out because of work and stuff, and then by 10 divorced. So after that, who were you living with?
My mom.
Your mom. Yeah. Okay. So your dad moved out.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's been my mom since like from 11 to when I moved out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was your dad, like, were you seeing your dad at all?
Yeah. So it was like a co-parenting situation.
Okay.
So when my dad was based in Ghana, we would see him on the weekends. We would see him Saturday, Sunday.
So when you say see, do you go to his place or he comes?
So we go to his place. If we're not able to go to his place, sometimes he'll pick us up for the day and then bring us back in the evening.
Okay.
And then when he was out of Ghana, we would see him every time he had leave. He would try to be, be in Ghana to see us every time. Sometimes even 3 days. And we would be asking, is it really worth it? But every time he had leave, he would try to come. You would see him. Yeah.
Were you close to him? Like, would you say
I was. And because we are only 2, sometimes I feel like we split. Like initially, and I would stress on the initially, I would say I was closer to my dad and my sister was closer to my mom.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. But, of course, as he left home, as you're growing up, puberty, womanhood, and everything, I started to understand my mom more. Like, as you're older, your parents will tell you certain things. And so, yeah, at that point, I think I started gravitating towards my mom a little bit more. Not because of any special thing, but I mean, that's who is physically there.
Yes.
Anyway, so,
yeah.
And of course, like with women, your mom can help you navigate adolescence and all that better than your dad can.
Right.
Yeah.
So this wasn't based on whatever it is that maybe your mom had told you or mentioned. It was just what you were experiencing in that.
Exactly.
That
And
moments.
my mom, I was I always tell her she's Jesus Christ assistant because she tries to be so like Christian like, and so in as much as yes, you will, and children are not stupid. I tell my husband this all the time, even about Kekeli, and he's 5. Like children are not stupid, so they know what's going on in their environment. So I think my mom really shielded us from a lot. She wouldn't talk bad about my dad.
That's
like even when we would go over, she'd be like, listen, be nice to your stepmom, make sure you're helpful, like do whatever daddy says, don't go cause trouble.
Right.
She was always like, on that path.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like in that time or that generation, but I get that from a lot of people that I've spoken to. It's always like, oh, my mom never spoke bad about my dad. Like, I got to see him for who he was or whatever. Is your dad still alive?
Yes, he is.
Oh, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Okay. So he remarried.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. So
very quickly.
Okay, like how quickly? Like was it in months, a year? Like was it?
Was it up to a year? Maybe closer to it. Maybe 10 months. Maybe 10, 11.
That was quick. Yeah.
Ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a relationship with your stepmom?
We are cordial.
Okay.
We are cool.
Okay.
If you say relationship is quite a strong word. I will call her, I will check on her. She does same. And we have respect for each other, which is really good. But maybe we don't spend enough time together. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's nice. I'm nice.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not one of those like, oh my God, I don't want to see her face. No.
Yeah.
Like and whatever we are doing as a family wise, we try to coordinate and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the family dynamics like for you guys? I'm talking about you, your sister, and your mom after your dad had left. Like, what was it like? It's like, I know your dad wasn't physically present anyway, but that switch, was there any communication? Like, oh, okay, you know what? We are splitting, so this is how things are going to go, or like, how was it like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we could see the signs. It wasn't like a sudden thing. We could see the signs. So my mom would do well to like psychologically prepare us, tell us, listen, you guys, thanks be to God, we lived quite a privileged life. But when daddy goes, we are not going to have some of these things anymore. Like, yeah, financially it was a little bit tough, I will admit. Psychologically, it was hard. And, and a little bit of extra pressure where my mom is like, like shield your little sister, like try and be the big sister, like, because if you understand what's going on, don't let it affect her too much, So, I mean, I used to be brilliant in school, but there was a point in time where like my grades were tanking and even my headmistress was like, no, Afua Dede, no, this is not normal,
Wow.
So like we got called into like school meetings. I started acting up a little bit, at school. I remember there was once in a boarding house. I got into an altercation with somebody and I waited till she was asleep and I took a razor and I shaved off her eyebrows. And the headmistress, when they told the headmistress that it was Afua Dede that did that, she was like, no. She said no, like 3 times. Like, no. It was like, pick somebody else, pick somebody else. And like then she got to realize that, listen, like a lot is going on with her and how she's like, it's so weird how kids start acting up when, stuff is going on. And some of the teachers who really cared, who really knew me, they would call me and you'd be like, yo, what's going on? And it was hard. It was
so
tough.
At the time, did you even know that, okay, this is why I'm upset? Or it was just like you were so upset. You didn't even know that, okay, it had to do with like the divorce and things changing.
I
and all
did.
that. Oh,
I
you
did.
okay.
I did because I mean, we are not, you're used to a certain lifestyle. We're not getting that lifestyle anymore. And I don't know why, as children, we are so cruel, but even amongst your classmates, they start making fun of you or picking on you, like, oh, you're being raised by a single mom now, maybe you can't travel as much as you used to. Maybe, you're not changing clothing as frequently as you used to. And, maybe adults talk. And if adults talk and children hear, children talk.
Yeah.
So if adults are talking and they're saying, oh, like, my mom's name is Mansa, like, oh, hey, Mansa is not doing so well anymore, or like Mansa doesn't have money anymore. And and children will come and they're repeated at school, like regurgitate it. And sometimes it's hard. And I think a little bit of it was being angry with myself because I did get into a little bit of bad company, made some friends or relationships that I shouldn't have. And so me acting up is like, I'm angry at my dad. Why is my dad not there? I'm angry at my mom. What did you do to make him leave? Like, I'm angry at myself. Why am I letting it affect me so much? Like, I'm angry with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just angry with everybody.
When your mom said you should shield your sister, like, do you think you did a good job at doing that? And like, what did she mean by that? How could you shield her? Like,
I think, like, if they would be having like their little arguments and stuff. At the time, we lived in a gated community with other pilots and their families, and we were friends with quite a number of them. So I'll just tell my sister, oh, like, let's go to Ashley's house. Let's just go play. Like, and I would do that without my mom even giving me the hint of like, okay, you guys, it's time to get out of this environment for an hour or two. So I think I do think I did quite a good job of doing that. But of course, my sister will probably have her own emotional or psychological journey, or maybe can't tell if I did but I think I did try my best.
So I mean, what I'm hearing from this is now it was like your mom was like the sole provider after the separation.
So for everything except, like, my dad was still supporting us financially, but then there's her, right?
Okay.
So for everything, like, school fees were paid, yes. Like, for the most part, we were not hungry, but like any other stuff, we did see the difference, And so for everything else was my mom, like everything else. And I know my dad was also going through his own challenges at the time, but I think it got to a point where he was being a responsible dad. He loved us, but maybe too, he couldn't keep up. So like maybe he was paying school fees, but he doesn't know, am I a science student? Am I an art student? Like, what am I doing? What are my passions? Where am I going? Like maybe at the time he doesn't have knowledge of that kind of stuff,
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about like religion. Okay, so you are Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
Your parents both are?
No, my mom is, my dad isn't.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, because usually Jehovah's Witness marry or that's not, because that's what I've heard.
Yes. So you are right. We usually do marry within our faith or in our organization.
Okay. So this was just something different. I mean,
it does happen, and I don't know. Should I say I don't want to tell my mom's story as to also how she ended up in that situation. So so my dad, from the start, my dad wasn't. My mom was. Yeah.
So
we used to go to a church. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we used to go to a church. I think I've celebrated maybe a number of birthdays.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, because that's so interesting. I thought you've never celebrated a birthday.
No, I think my 6th birthday, my 7th birthday. Yeah.
Interesting.
And even when I was being a bit naughty in my adulthood, I think even my 25th.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it was.
So we weren't like, if my mom was going to the meetings, we were not allowed to go. Like, my dad prohibited us from going. So it's only like after the divorce, and my mom did her best. Like, she was at home doing her Bible studies with us, and just studying the Bible in general with us. And I think my dad, he wasn't even really a church person.
Yeah.
You know, like, sorry, daddy, if you see this, but a part of me feels like even the church he was going, it was like to spite my mother. Because my dad is not that type.
Yeah.
But Sundays, he wants to just relax, watch his tennis, watch his football, just, just chill.
Yeah.
So it's not like every single Sunday we were going, but every now and then, Christmas, Easter, whatever, like, some Sunday schools and stuff like that. So I think when they split, of course, now that we're under my mom's care, we started going to the Kingdom Hall more frequently. We started learning, that kind of stuff. So by then I was probably like 11 or 12.
Okay.
I'm a preteen.
Yeah.
So
wow. So then how did she explain to you? Because I'm curious to know, for someone who was celebrating birthdays, Christmas, I'm guessing, and other things, how did she explain to you that, okay, you know what, no more Christmas, no more birthdays? Like, how did she?
It was so tough.
Yeah.
And I don't know if my mom will remember this, but I always remember this, and sometimes I beat myself up for it. I think there was one time we went to convention. And I was acting up. I was, being silly. And in those days, it used to be long go, like from morning to from 9 to 5. Now the time is a little bit shortened. So of course, silly me, maybe 11 or 12. We were going home and something happened. I think I wanted my mom to buy me something or do something. And she was like, no, she's not doing it. And then I said to her, I'll tell daddy you took us to convention. If I tell you the smack on my mouth that and it wasn't so much of no, we're not doing this anymore. She, again, Jesus Christ assistant eased us into it. She was like, listen, you've been going to church, you go to the Kingdom Hall now, compare for yourself, which is okay. You are literate, you can read the Bible. What do you see in the Bible that you think contradicts? What do you feel should be this way? I think there was a birthday party I once went to and they gave us goodie bags, or maybe the other way. So two, one, they gave us goodie bags. I came home and I told my mom, Mommy, I don't want this because you told us that birthdays are bad. And of course, as a parent, you'll be proud, but you wonder, like, does the child understand or they just want to make me, the parent, happy? And I think there was another instance too where they gave us like a birthday invitation in class. They shared it in class. I didn't even tell any of my parents. I just came on and I tossed it in the bin. So my mom saw it in the bin and she was like, what is this? But this person is your friend. I know this person is your good friend. Are you sure you don't want to go? And I was like, no, Mommy, like, birthdays are bad. I'm not going to go. And she was like, okay. So unfortunately, my dad saw it and my dad is like, you are going. I went to that party and I went to go and get malaria there. It wasn't easy in the What? I was not easy in the house. So this one, the child said she won't go. She won't go. You take her now, she's sick, So when I started going and, kind of like understanding things for myself and like kind of like putting my own two and two together. I remember like even approaching my dad, like, yo, Dad, I really think this is the truth, or like I really think this is the faith that I want to have or where I want to be. And I think I was 16 at the time, and my dad is like, I think you're still a little bit young, fine if you're going, no problem, I can't stop you, but I would love for you to get older before you make any commitments or, whatever. So let's have this conversation again when you're 18.
Okay.
So when I was 18, I still felt the same way. I was like, Dad, listen, I still feel the same way. And I want your blessing. Like, I want to get baptized. Because for Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't believe in infant baptism. You don't, because the child doesn't know anything. Yeah. So I said, Dad, I want to get baptized. And he's like, oh, I know you're 18 now. I know you think you're an adult, but like, wait a little bit. Maybe when you're 21, like you can make a much more better decision.
Okay.
And then I said, okay. And the following year at 19, I got baptized.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, this man will do everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you were like fully Jehovah's Witness. Back then, I'm sure your mom was like elated. Like, okay.
But I mean, she could, my mom always says that she could see I had a glimmer in my eye. She always wondered, because of my closest to my dad, like if I could, like, or if I would feel I was disappointing my dad, like not to shade me or anything, but she would always say, oh, a part of me felt like maybe you wouldn't last, you know? Yeah. And I mean, I was a little naughty too. I was a little headstrong. I was a little naughty. So she was just like, this is my child. This one, I have to keep an eye on here.
Yeah.
You know?
But your sister was fully in it.
I mean, my sister, and of course, again, being closer to my mom, I feel like my sister, if you maybe 10 years ago, I would have said, oh, maybe my sister had a much more better spirituality than I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So now you've decided to go fully into Jehovah's Witness. Your friends.
Yeah.
Because how was that like? Like, were they Jehovah's Witnesses as well? Did you have to do away with them and then get new sets of friends?
I had some friends who were witnesses. I had some who were not. I mean, even now, still, I have friends who aren't. But it was hard because, you know, you form some bonds and some deep relationships with people and you love them so much. But as much as you love them, you have to tell them, listen, on the day that means the most to you, on the day that is the most special to you, which is your birthday, I can't be there.
Wow.
And how do they understand?
Yeah.
And you know, human beings are funny. You do 99 good, but when you do one bad, you're a bad person. You know, like you could spend time with them
all year,
3, 6, 4, but on that one day,
yeah,
then it's like, oh, maybe you're not a good friend or you're not loyal or you know. So it's been hard, and it's still a little bit hard.
Wow.
Because even with my dad, like we're not, it doesn't mean that because we have this faith we shun everybody else. No, we still love the people that we love. And God loves everybody.
Right.
He might hate things that people do. He doesn't hate people.
Right.
You know?
True.
If you lie, he hates your action of lying. He doesn't hate you enough. You see? So I always try to break that down to my dad. I'm like, listen, I don't love you any less. Don't feel like I've chosen mommy's side. It wasn't a battle. It was never about choosing sides.
Yeah.
I still love you very much, you know, like, so even on his birthday, sometimes I would try and massage it a little bit, you know, like I'll send him a sweet message like, oh, daddy, I love you. I'm thankful for your life. You know, like, may God watch over you, even without so much as saying the words, happy birthday.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So like, I mean, before we even move to like you being a mom and all that, why is it bad to celebrate birthdays? I've always been curious, and I've already told you. So so my mom's sister is a witness. My mom's sister and her husband. My cousins, my two cousins, they are also witnesses as well. And I remember growing up with them. I mean, there are times, you know, I mean, African household, there will always be times when you go live with like your aunts and so I think my mom and dad were traveling and then went to live with them for a bit. That was the first time I was exposed to that. I think I don't remember, maybe 4, 5, I don't remember. I was exposed to that, and I don't know why, but I mean, I have to just be very, very honest. I was just so sad for them. Why are you not celebrating? No, I was like, why are you not celebrating birthdays, like Christmas, like you know? And I grew up in one of those houses where, not birthdays, Christmas, well, birthdays as well, but Christmas meant a lot to my dad. We will hang like a thread with Christmas cards, the Christmas tree, like, and that is even done like weeks before Christmas. Then it's only taken down on my dad's birthday, which is 7th January.
Okay.
So from Christmas Day to 7th January, the decorations are up. And then everybody's coming to our house. And so I was like, oh, everyone is coming. And then, you know, my cousins are not coming, you know, so I felt bad for them. And so I've always been curious, like, why is it so bad?
So, I mean, I will say this, and I want to issue a disclaimer because I'm not a spokesperson for the organization.
100%.
You know, and even this is not really the platform for like a religious whatever. But
I want your understanding. I don't
my
want
personal understanding. For me, it's not scriptural.
Okay.
So looking at the scriptures, looking at how, you know, the things Jesus told us to celebrate, the things he threw light on, and the things that he condemned, my short answer is, for me, it's not scriptural.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe off camera, I can elaborate on that a little bit more. But for me, it's just about like my understanding of the scripture.
Right. Okay.
But what do your cousins tell? Is it something you've ever discussed with your cousins?
So yeah, I don't know if it was from them or from my aunt. I also forgot to mention my grandma as well. So that
wow.
Yeah. So actually, surprised my mom isn't, but yeah, my mom's mom as well. So I think it might have been my grandma who said it, that so she gave examples from when Joseph was thrown in jail, and then what's it called? Was he a chef? Was he a chef or a cook?
The cook, the butler,
the dream, and then having him beheaded and all that. So that was the example that was given, and that was the justification that was given. So it made it seem as if like it was. I don't really remember.
For a lot of people who study the Bible back then, I mean, now there's been a lot of updates and clearer understanding into the scriptures and stuff like that. Yes, I mean, even some of my friends who used to have my book of Bible stories.
That was you. That was my first. No, seriously.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, right.
I loved it. I
think there was another one where they had John the Baptist or John headed.
Yes.
So it was like, even from these two examples alone, look at what happens when people are celebrating birthdays, or when people want to throw attention to themselves or make it all about me. Look at me. It's my day. I'm glorifying myself, or I'm superiorizing myself, or whatever. But yeah, on the flip side, people might also say you can't use two examples to just justify. Yeah. Which is why I say it has to be a scriptural understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a much more deeper whatever when you delve into it. Yeah. So I'll share that with you later.
No problem. So now,
and I mean, even for other celebrations now. I resonate with you a lot, talking about how Christmas meant a lot to your dad, because even for us, Christmas was the one time that we would see other family members and stuff. I love that, family spirit, family coming together, sharing a meal. But now it's a lot of things are commercialized.
Yes, that's true.
A lot of things are Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Easter. It's all about the Easter egg hunt and not really teaching your kids that, why are we doing this? Okay, supposedly because Jesus did so and so and so. And you just ask yourself, a lot of people see their family, is it only one day? Is it only Christmas? Are you saying that throughout the year, there's no other day you can get together as a family, And because of the understanding that people have or how they know us to be, unfortunately, it runs into other things. Sanko for Wolfram Mokra, but they forget we do weddings. Jesus turned water into wine at a wedding. Look at what Jesus did too. We do baby showers. It's a gift, it's a blessing when a child is born. We do anniversaries, we do other stuff. So if we're not doing certain stuff, then there's a reason why.
Okay. So now fast forward, you got married. So your husband is also Jehovah's Witness. Was that intentional?
When you say intentional, define it.
Did you set out to marry a Jehovah's Witness?
Yes.
Or you did?
Yeah.
So then it was intentional?
Yes, it was intentional.
Okay. So was he in your fellowship? It's a fellowship, right? That's what it is.
Yeah. So he wasn't in my congregation.
Okay, congregation.
Yeah, because I was in... So we have kingdom halls quite conveniently almost everywhere. You'd be surprised. Ebri, Akosombo, wherever you, as a man can say, wherever you're driving, all over the world, you're most likely to see a kingdom hall. I was in Hacho at the time, and he was in Ashali Botre.
Okay. So how did you guys meet?
We met through a mutual friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that long story short?
No.
Okay.
Long story. I mean, I think he had been spying me from a couple of months before.
Okay.
And we have a friend, Elizabeth. I grew up with Elizabeth because her father is a pilot as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then he had told her, he was, joke when you see someone that your friend is nice, or I like her, and he used to bug it, call if I ask if I should be eating, call if I find out if it's okay, but we had never spoken. So Elizabeth was like, if this guy doesn't stop bothering me, I'll show him one of these days. So she was in a chassis. She used to come over to my place in Legon, in Pence on the weekends.
Yeah.
So it was a normal thing. So it was so normal that sometimes, even if I wasn't there, I would leave my key for her.
Okay.
Or, if I hear on a Friday, if I hear the door opening at 4 p.m. and my eyes are closed, I know it's Elizabeth. So I don't flinch.
Yeah.
So I think we were having one of our weekends. I was preparing for her to come over. So I was wearing a house dress. And when I say house dress, it's slightly see-through, torn in different places. The dress you wear when you're doing dirty things.
Yeah.
So I was wearing a house dress and I was cooking. And I'd pull the dress up in a funny sort of way.
Yeah.
And of course, Friday, 4 something, 5 something, I hear the door open. So I'm not flinching. It's Elizabeth. So then my back is turned and I'm cooking, and then I just hear her burst out laughing like. So I'm like, what's in the worry this one?
Yeah.
When I turn, she's there with my husband at the time, and I was just like, dude, like, really? You couldn't tell me somebody was coming into the room, like. So I gave her this look like, we will definitely talk about this later, and she just kept laughing. Emeka wouldn't say a word. Okay, so he helped her up with her bags. You've helped your friend. Okay, now go. Go now. He sat down on the bed. So I'm like, so this whole time, like, I'm texting Elizabeth, like, even though we're all in the same room, like, he said, can you explanation, please? Like, can you say something? And he's not talking. Like, food is ready. I offer him food. No, he won't eat. He's not talking. He's not saying anything. So we're going out that night. And then I ask her, should I wear tights or a skirt? And then I hear a voice in the distance say, oh, wear tights. I was like, excuse you? But okay, I will wear tights. You know, like, that's how we met. So I was like, so I sent her a text. I'm like, oh, he smells nice. Like, he's cute. I like his shirt. And then she goes, Emeka, she said you're cute. And I was like, are you kidding me? And at the time, I had 2 cell phones, like a Yam and then my regular line. So because I was doing a little business on campus, like I used to sell pancakes, waffles, and stuff like that.
I remember.
Yeah, so that was like my work line and then my regular line. So sometimes when guys are bugging me or like I don't really want to give my number out, I just give them
that one,
the work line.
Yeah.
So Emeka was like, oh, so like, how do I reach you if I want to order cakes or something? So I'm like, oh, like, okay, here's the number. And then I'm ringing out the number and Elizabeth is like,
oh my gosh.
But that's your main number. I'm just like, I'll tear this down to pieces.
But what made you give out your main line this time? Like your main number?
He was cute. So, and I mean, we went out, we drank a little bit too much. We got back the next day and Emeka texts me and he's like, oh, there's pizza and painkiller outside your door. That was it. That was the text.
Goodness.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay.
So thoughtful.
He is so thoughtful. Like, he runned me and Kasa. Like, when he would give lights off on campus, he'd be like, oh, I heard you like scented candles, so I'll bring you candles so you can light up your room. I think when Royal Senchi had just opened, we had been like talking about it.
Myself.
Hey! No, he set the bar very high. He did.
Okay, like, continue. When
you know, when Royal Senchi first opened, like we just spoke about it over the phone and stuff, and yeah. So he was like, "Oh yeah, it'll be nice to check it out one day." So there was a day he called me. It was like a Tuesday. He's like, "Have you eaten?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, do you want to get something to eat?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" So he picks me up. Hey, we are going. We're on the motorway. I say, brother, don't kill me. I beg you, please. Whatever it is, I'll do. I beg, please. Don't take me for sacrifice. And like, we're going. I'm like, at this point, I'm nervous. So I'm like, where are we going? He's like, don't you trust me? Wait, we'll see. I was like, actually, no, I don't trust you. And my parents think I'm in school. So yeah. He's like, oh, you'll see. Just be patient. You'll see. And then he takes me to Senchi. He's like, oh, we're having lunch at Senchi. And I was just like,
oh my goodness.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Like my wish was his command. All I had to do was open my mouth and say pip and he would do it. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You know, like even when I was in Canada, he would call me like, oh, it's time for a Bible study now. Or stuff. Like a lot of things in my life that were not right before we got married. He was like, you need to fix this.
Yeah.
You need to fix this.
That's so
interesting. Like, you know, you need to fix this. Like, even when we were talking, there was a time I came to Ghana and I think he had a feeling that maybe I might have been entertaining other people or
like, you?
Maybe I was in or not 100% in. I'm side-eyeing you asking that question. You know, there was a day he called me to ANC and he's like, oh, I want to talk to you. So when I got there, I'm like, I'm here. He's like, oh, don't get out from the car. I'm coming. So I'm like, So he gets in the car, he gets in the front seat and he's like, listen, this is not a high school relationship. Like, I'm serious about this. If you know you're not serious, let me know so I pass my place. And he's just like, wow, like energy. And the whole time I'm not even like upset or phased. I'm just like, please carry on. Yeah. You know, so from that point, I was like, okay, I'm 101% in now.
Wow.
Maybe before it's 99, but now it's 101.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So okay, right.
Yeah.
So now you met him. You've told a story about meeting him. That was in university.
Yeah.
I want us to talk about that bit a bit before we talk about childhood. I'm sorry, you being a mom. When you met him, this was university. You didn't finish university, like you mentioned. And then what happened? Like, why did you decide to like up and leave?
It was a lot of things. So even the main reason why I didn't finish uni is because level 100, I got a scholarship to a couple of universities in Canada.
Okay.
So I knew that, I'm leaving, I'm leaving. And then my mom fell really, really ill.
Okay.
So I had to stay. I had to stay back and, that kind of thing. And so I wasn't really committed to Legon, I would say, at that time, because I knew, any minute now I'm going, any minute now I'm going, any minute now I'm going, tend to, I'm stuck here. So if you look at my transcript, I didn't even show up for the exams. Level 100 was all Fs. Apart from practicals, apart from chem practicals, physics practicals, level 100 was all Fs. Because I was like, hey, any minute I'm going home. Yeah, I'm here, but I'm not here. And then you can see 200, it picks up. So it was just a matter of.
But that was a year where level 100 was non-scoring, right?
No. So
okay.
And you know what's funny? Before, if you had come from like SOS, TIS, or GIS, you would go straight to 200.
Yes.
The minute it was me alone, my 10, my house people made them change it. They say, now you start at 100 with everyone else. Now 100 is scoring. Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the time where if you wanted to do medicine, like you do the biological science first, and then you write the Kolibu exam, and then go forward. And
so you wanted to do medicine at the time?
Essentially, I would have been a dentist. Yeah. I my teeth are horrible, so I've always had this passion for teeth. Like I'm crazy about teeth. Okay. When I meet people, the first thing I look at is their teeth. Yeah. It's a subconscious thing I do. Like anybody I meet for the first time, I'm just waiting for them to open their mouth so I can look at their teeth. Yeah. So I wanted to be a dentist. Yeah.
Okay. So your mom fell ill.
Yes, my mom fell ill. I had to stay, and so it was more or less like, I like I said, getting into bad company. You almost get to a point in your life where you feel like nothing is going on well. Like, what am I doing here? Like national service, you don't even know where your posting is going to be. And of course, I didn't graduate. So I'll be doing national service, and then I'll still have to come back and be rewriting papers. And so my sister at the time had finished high school. Okay. So she was going to college in Canada as well. Okay. So my mom couldn't go. She was like, take your sister for me. So I was like, okay, no problem. Okay. And so I took my sister and I got there and I said,
Wow. Yeah. And at the time you were dating?
Yeah, at the time. Okay. I met Emeka March. Okay. I met Emeka March 28th. I left Ghana 25th July. Wow. Yeah. So it was April, May, June, July.
You were out.
Yeah.
And then what was your plan when you went?
Sure, I didn't have plan, no. Just freestyling life. Right. You're in your early 20s. Yeah. You don't have any real dependence, any real responsibilities.
So who were you living with at
that time? My really good friend from high school, her name is Trisha. Okay. I said, Trisha, we are gonna have to camp with you for a couple of months. Okay. So because my dad was a little bit upset at my sister, like the course she was choosing and everything. So initially he was even like, this Canada that you're going, like what's going on, what's with all this. So he wasn't too into the process. He wasn't too, like he funded the plane ticket and everything, but as to like, hey, where are we staying? What's going on? What clothes are we wearing? Yeah. Yeah. So we stayed with my friend till about October. Okay. So July, August, September, October, for about another 4 months. Yeah. She was so gracious to accommodate us. They have a family home there. Okay. And so October, my sister and I found an apartment and we moved out. Nice. Yeah. But I mean, even going back to religion, I would say I became more serious when I went away from home. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like
what happened?
Let's call a spade. When you're in your 20s, sometimes Germans, they catch your eye. Yeah. Like you do things you're not supposed to do. But I think that at that point, being away from my mom, being away from my dad, it's like okay, I'm 23, I'm an adult now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this, as an immigrant, I'm in this foreign land, and if anything happens to me, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even so much as what mommy has told me not to do, but whatever principles that I know before, however I lived life before, that's what's going to help me survive now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
True.
what kind of life do I want to live now?
Yeah.
So that was really the factor in, actually, I'm not just going because of my mom. Like, I actually do want to go.
Yeah.
Because at that point, nobody's there. Nobody can come and beat me. No one can catch me. I do anything I like, you know?
Yeah.
But at that point, like, we looked for a Kingdom Hall in our area. We used to go for all the Bible studies. And, you know, I really started righting a lot of my wrongs and, like, you know, changing my lifestyle and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think sometimes, too, you need to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, that's what's from your heart. A lot of people are Catholic because, I grew up Catholic. My parents took us to Catholic. I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
But if you sit down and you ask them, why are you Catholic? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, okay, what's the meaning or the commemoration of taking mass or whatever?
Communion, like things
Communion.
like that.
I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to fall into that bracket of, I am because my mom is. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think at that point it was like to make it my own.
Yeah.
And so I said to Emeka, you know, if at any point in time you feel like, you know, even I don't know how to say it at the time we were dating, like, this is what I want, and this is the kind of man I want, and this is how I want my man's spirituality to be. Like, we had all these conversations.
Good.
So he's fully aware of what he's getting himself into. I'm also fully aware of what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So that let me call it a blasting that he that was before you went to Canada.
No, that was after. I had been in Canada like a year.
Oh, and then okay.
You know how men are, sometimes they'll call you, your phones are call waiting, they're like, hey, this babe.
And you even had a call to even call me. Yeah.
Can you imagine? So I'm not priority that whoever you're talking to, you're still, you know, like, I wasn't entertaining anyone else, but I think, I don't know. For me, I don't know about you, but for women, it's a little different. Sometimes you want to study the person. Sometimes you feel like, okay, let's see how it's going to be now. I'm not there. First, I was there, you know, you were doing whatever it is that you were doing, splashing gifts, doing that. Now I'm not there. Okay, let's see if you are really, you know, like, true to your word.
Yeah.
And I think Emeka didn't give me grace, so like, I was still figuring life out. I've just moved. And, you know, like, I don't know if I want to stay here. I don't know if I want to come back to Ghana. Like, I'm confused small. So, like, just be manage me, you know.
Manage your confusion.
You know, like, see inside for me small. Yeah. But yeah.
So
and but it's scary because of going back to what my parents experienced. I never wanted to get married. And I told my mother this. I'm like, I'm okay to have my house. My man has his house. You know, like, if I truly want to, yes, I will have kids. If he misses me, he can come over. If I miss him, I'll go over. You know, like, my lock screen on my laptop used to be like, love kills slowly.
Wow.
My mom would be so, like, the kind of music I would listen to, like, very heavy on the dark and feminism and, you know, like, not respecting men and men are trash, you know, type of girl. Yeah. So I know she used to worry about me. I know she did. But of course, I'm like, this is what I see in my family, you know. So I'm not motivated to, I don't have an example that I can say, I want that. I want to be them. They're 60. They're enjoying life. They're going to weddings together. They're doing whatever. I don't have that.
Yeah.
You know, so, and even when you guys are together, I don't see no chemistry. I don't see no, you know, like, so
yeah.
What is it? If I'm with a guy's vibes, it's because he's cute. It's not because I particularly have
like an end goal, like, the end of everything.
The end of this is marriage, or the end of this is this or this. Yeah, you know. So,
and you had that discussion with Emeka.
I mean, I told him parts of my childhood which were quite traumatic for me. So he knew, and, you know, he kept saying, like, you know, like, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I'm not like that. But that's you convincing me. I already have a preconceived idea in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's now up to you to let your actions show me that you're not like that.
Right.
Because even when I was moving, I was like, oh, okay, I'm moving. Because I did confide in him. Even though I might not have told some of my family that, listen, when I go, I'm not coming back. I did confide in him. And, I'm like, oh, I'm going. You're free now, like I'm going. It's okay. Run along now, And he's like, but we can try and do long distance. And I was like, Kitty, like,
Let me go.
I wanted an excuse to go. This man would just be like, no, here is a rebuttal. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, let me go.
Just let me go. But he did so well.
Wow.
He did so well.
How long did you end up in Canada for? Like, how long were you there?
8.5 years. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think because I know you guys were there as well.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? So did he end up coming there?
So we got married and then I filed for him and Selassie.
Wait, so you were there for how long before you got married?
3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And then by then you guys had dated for a while.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Like now we want.
Yeah.
So what made you finally say, okay, you know what? I'm ready for marriage.
Okay, so I don't think we even, usually it's the woman that will be giving the guy pressure, like, what are we? What's going on?
Yeah.
And like, for me, in as much as I'm that feminist, I'm a lover girl. When I love people and I give them my all. So even if, we are together and I'm not seeing the end goal, we're still together. Like, if I love you, I want other people that I love to know you.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, oh, come meet my mom, come meet my sister, come meet my dad.
Yeah.
So my parents will always know, this girl, her eyes on this boy. Because I'm always like, oh, come meet the people that mean a lot to me. So he had already, after like 2 weeks, he had already met my mom and my sister, of meeting him.
Okay.
But that wasn't even so much intentional as I want to get in a deep relationship with this person. It was just, oh, I really like you as a person. And in order to understand me, I want you to come around the people that I'm usually around.
Yeah.
So like my mom, my sister, my dad,
Yeah.
that's just like how I am. So
okay.
In the end, we were like, we need to steady ourselves, especially since it's long distance. We can't just jump on it. But I think he knew from day one. Day one. So there was a day I was there, he sent me flowers.
Oh.
And then in the note, he said, grow old with me. So I was like,
what does this mean?
I'm trying to interpret this. And I know I'm not dumb, but so I called him and I was like thanking him for the flowers and everything. And he's like, oh, like I went to see your dad today. Like your dad and I had a talk. And I'm like, okay, and usually I talk nonstop. This time I'm quiet because I'm just like, hey, like goosebumps, like this is getting serious.
Yeah.
Like you're talking to my dad for what? And then he's like, oh, like your dad says we should wait a while, like wait a while for what? He's like, yeah, so you when you're bored and you're there, just be scrolling and be looking for rings. Oh my God. So I was like, what? He's like, yeah, but you don't mind your dad. I'll convince your dad. Like, don't men to men will talk. So then my dad calls me and he's like, your friend.
Yeah, the old people, for them to say boyfriend,
they will die.
They
will choke and die.
Friend. It's always friend.
Yeah. He's like, oh, your friend came to see me. Yeah. So where you are, you think you're a big girl now, like vibing me. And I was like, Daddy, stop. He's like, oh, but he seems like a gentleman, he seems like a nice guy. I did tell him, I feel like you guys can wait a while, but, like basically let's see how the progression goes. So I think about maybe 2-3 months later, my Emeka went and had another chat with my dad. And my dad was just like, okay, it looks like this is the guy. So where I am today is my husband.
Yeah. How old were you?
So I was, how old was I? I was 26 when I got married.
Oh wow, that's same.
Yeah.
Same too.
I think, what month did you get married in?
I got married in October 1st.
Okay. So I think you did October and then we did July the next year because you were 16, right?
Yeah. You did.
So you did October 16 and then we were July 17.
Yeah.
Because I was looking up to you. I was like, what's this small girl that I was going to marry?
But I was a small girl. I
know, but
what was that?
Some of the pictures came out. I was like, I remember your kente so vividly. It was like pink and blue, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was.
This girl's going to marry. I was like, hey, like it's that time, like we are growing.
Yeah, because actually, because the traditional. Yeah, my girls were in blue. Your girls were in blue as well, right? Or your guys were in blue. The girls were in blue.
My girls were in blue and the boys were in blue too. But
But guys in blue. I don't remember. I think maybe I don't remember. But yeah, okay, that's.
I was looking up to you. I've been fangirling you for a while. Okay.
Wow.
We're growing old, like, okay, like,
Yeah, like,
it's
yeah,
not
that
so
was
bad.
yeah.
It's not so bad, you know.
Yeah.
Potentially, I could.
Yeah.
There's this, even at that time, when you're marrying 25, 26, rumors, hey, she's pregnant. Like,
Yeah, people.
why is she marrying so early? Like,
Yeah, people think,
what's
yeah.
going on? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's two people that want to be together.
That's
Like, it's
it.
okay.
Nothing. You didn't see married. Like 1 month later, no pregnancy. Like, oh, okay. So they married for love.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so I
so
was 26. Yeah.
let me just quickly fast forward because we're wrapping up soon. When we quickly fast forward to having Kekeli, so that was your first son. So Emeka already had a son.
Yes, that's correct.
How old was he before you got your son? I mean, your first, Emeka's first. How old was
Selassie is 17 this year.
Oh, okay.
So he was about 7 when we got married.
Oh.
Yeah, was he?
Wait, no.
Am I not doing the math right?
No, you guys are married 7 years.
Okay,
right?
sorry. So 10.
He was 10. Okay.
Gosh,
okay.
my math is dead.
Yeah,
so he was 10.
He was 10.
So he was 10 when we got married.
Okay.
And then when he came to Canada, I think he had just had his 12th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. So his dad had to come first. So his dad came the following year, August 2018.
Okay.
And then Selassie came January 2020. Yeah, 2020, January. Unfortunately, when he came, COVID hit in March. So he had a little bit of a rough time, adjusting in Canada and all that. And then 2022, we moved back. July 2022.
Emeka came because you were there.
Yeah. Wow. So that is also something that we spoke about.
Yeah.
I said, I have a 10-year plan for my life in this country, at least.
Yeah.
But I do have a 10-year plan. So if we're going to get married, you need to be on board because I'm not coming to Ghana.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So he cut my plan short by 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he found like a job there.
Yeah, so he found a new life. So he found a job.
Yeah.
We had Kekeli.
Mm-hmm. And how about you? So you also decided to, because that's when you decided to go into like culinary.
Exactly. So actually the year after I moved, 2015, I went to culinary school. Yeah. So it was like a 1-year intensive course. I did chef de cuisine. So like that's like executive chef level.
Okay.
So I said, listen, and it's so funny because I wrote, the fees were not cheap, so I wrote an email to my dad and I'm like, yo dad, like help. And he's like, as far as I am concerned, you are going to medical school. So if now you want to be a cooker or say caterer or say, my hand is not inside. So like I would work during the night. I was working at McDonald's at the time.
Wow.
I would work 11 p.m. to 7 the next day. And then I would go to class from 12 to 5 to kind of like support myself, top up the fees, that kind of stuff. Wow. So I wanted to do it and I did it with God's help.
Yeah, that's commendable. Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
So I was like, if I can't be a dentist, I'll learn a skill. But I always love cooking.
Yeah. I mean, I followed your, like, you had like a cooking gang. It was like, what was it called?
Booby Cook Gang. During COVID.
During COVID. Yeah, that was like, and I think I love your personality. Like you are, I don't know, we are kind of similar in a way. Like, I really love just like, you are very like, you light up a room. Like there's this, your big smile. And I love that you love community and like sharing like information, and resources.
I love your podcast because like you bring these things out of people. People wonder why I'm the way I am. I didn't have that when I was younger. Like it was just me and my sister. So if we're fighting, I don't have anyone to talk to. And then it's like a nuclear family of 3. Me, my sister, my mom. All my cousins lived in the UK on my mom's side. All my cousins on my dad's side lived in the UK. I didn't meet some of my paternal cousins till I was 20. So that sense of like community, like Lebanon.
Yes.
Yeah, Lebanon was my only cousin in Ghana, like, and her brothers.
You guys were cousins.
Yes. Yeah. So that's all who we had here. Everybody else was away. So I never really had that like community sense of thing. And it's just something I crave for all the time.
Yeah. So you created yourself.
Yeah. So I have to create it. Like you create your own happiness.
So just moving quickly to motherhood. So you became a stepmom.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing he doesn't call you stepmom. I mean, he calls you mom, right?
He calls me Auntie Afua.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But were you ready for that? Like,
I mean, I was as ready as I could be. And when I told my dad was like, no way. Like, no, stop, go. My mom was just like, listen, I won't tell you no, I won't tell you yes. Study how you are with your stepmom. Study the situation between my dad and I. Now study the situation between you and Emeka, and then you can know if it's something you want to do. So whatever your stepmom is not doing for you, is that what you want to do for this child? Wherever it is that you feel that you are lacking in your own life, how can you project that for the better for this child? So I think to an extent I was ready. Like if I would travel and come out, try and buy him stuff, build a relationship, we go for ice cream, we talk and stuff like that. It was really hard when he moved. Oh, I wish we had more time to talk about that. That was a lot.
Yeah.
It was really hard when he moved. He was acting up. He was acting up a lot. He was acting up a lot.
Because he didn't want to move.
I don't think he was confused.
Yeah.
He was just confused.
Yeah.
Like, my dad's married this woman. Okay, they used to live away from me. Now I live with them. I've never lived with her before. And she's like young.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's a lot. And I'm in this new environment. And like, you know how our Broche kids do are. So he'll go to school and then they'll be putting stuff in his ears as well. It was a lot. That was a very, and like now he's stuck indoors. It's COVID. So even the Canada that he thought he was coming to come and enjoy is all Zoom classes and indoors, you know, like, so it was a lot. It was a lot. Our relationship, there was a point where we had to bring him back to Ghana for a while. It was really intense. It was really, really intense. And he told me straight to my face, like, I don't think I can call you mom. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever that you feel in your heart that you can call me. I'm not here to impose that on you.
Yeah.
I would do my best as a mother figure.
Yeah.
You know. And so I think it was 2021. I had a miscarriage. And that was when he came back from Ghana around the same time. He had been away for about 5 months. And there was a day he peeked in my room and he said, you have to get up, oh. You have to get up and maybe go outside. What you're doing is not good.
Wow.
I was so depressed. And I realized at that point that, okay, this boy actually does have affection for me after all. You know, like, so I feel like it was from that point when he too had come back and reflected on some of his behavior and he was like, okay, this woman also cares for me. Like looking at all the things that she has done for me. How many kids will have this opportunity? You know, move abroad and all that. So I think 2021 is even when our relationship started getting a bit better.
That's good. That's good. And but his mom is still alive, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm guessing you don't have any relationship with her, or you do?
No, not particularly.
No. Okay.
No.
Now with Kekeli, you are raising him as a Jehovah's
Yes, I am.
Does he have questions? Like how
he does. He has so many questions. And in December, he will, all the songs that they teach them at school, he will come home and be singing all of them. And I'm like, you know, like, but I just break it down to him. I'm like, okay, Kekeli, you're young now. I know you don't understand. But, you know, whatever that we are practicing, this is how we do it at home. I know sometimes at school, they might tell you this or that, but this is how we do it at home. And I'm not new to teaching him that kind of thing because in Canada, they're teaching all the, you know, LGBTQ and if you want to be a girl, if you want to be a boy, if you want to be a whatever.
Right.
So even then, like maybe your classmate has 2 moms, your classmate might have 2 dads. They teach them that.
When he was there.
Yeah.
That was when you guys were there.
So when we are there, so, you know, again, when we are there, I tell him, okay, Kekeli, it's okay if Sharon has 2 moms, but in this home, we have mommy and we have daddy and whatever, you know, it's okay. So everything I tell him, I just try to explain to him that, okay, this is how mommy and daddy do it at home, you know. And I mean, he's 5. He will still, Mama, when is my birthday? Mama, I want a present for my birthday, you know, but it's just, I think, continuous Bible study. And when he's finally old enough to also understand and, you know, get a more deeper meaning of the scriptures, then yes. But because I don't see what Jehovah's Witnesses are doing different from Muslims. I don't see what they're doing different from Buddhists. I don't see what they're doing different from most other, because I know Catholics also marry within the faith for the most part.
Because when I was getting married to my husband, I remember someone actually saying, so you're married a non-Catholic.
Hey, shh, his head.
I was like, okay.
Right? Like,
okay.
So if you think about it deeply, what are we doing that's different from what other people do? When Muslims have kids, you see during Eid, and sometimes it's beautiful to see. You see the whole family going, you see the little girl in her abaya and everything. So we will teach our children how we do things in our household.
Right.
And the more they get to understand the scriptures as they get older, yes, then they can make an informed decision.
Okay. So
Yeah.
for now, when it's his birthday, what happens?
When it's his birthday, nothing happens.
Does he ask any, like, does he cry? Does he say, oh, why am I not getting presents?
The boy doesn't even know time.
When his birthday
Monday
is.
from Wednesday, December from February, like.
Yeah.
No, but when typically, if it's any of us, our birthday, we don't do anything, or we don't do anything out of the ordinary to make it seem like we are doing this because it's a birthday.
Okay.
If we want to get pizza and drinks, we can do that anytime. Sometimes I take them to the splash pad. Sometimes we at home, I bake cake or we buy cake for no reason.
Yeah,
we just try to get that. Sometimes we'll wrap up a present and, okay, Kelly, this is for you. Even Selassie, like randomly, oh, this is for you. And, random. It doesn't have to be your birthday. And as a family, we just try to appreciate each other as much as possible.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And I mean, even within our faith, like we'll take them for play dates, like with other witness kids and whatever. So it's not like they don't know what that feels like party or party bag or,
they do. And with your business, like whenever someone hits you up for like,
so I mean, ideally, if I feel like, hey, this one, my conscience will prick me. I have people that I work with.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say, no, I'm not taking your order because this food is going to a birthday party. And even sometimes clients don't even bother to go into those details.
Yeah.
They just call you, they say, hey, listen, I need private catering, 20 people, 30 people, whatever. Sometimes it's when you get to the venue that you realize, oh, it's a birthday. What's my business? I'm not part of them. I'm in the kitchen. I'm doing my work. And like maybe if it's something more personalized or like a birthday cake or this or that, I have people that I work with. And if they are not opposed to doing that, then we know how we handle it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
I wouldn't put myself in a situation where, oh, I'm doing this, but it's against my conscience. No, I'm too old for that. If I don't want to do it, I won't do it.
You won't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do like your viewpoints on celebrations where it's like, oh, you don't need to mark a particular day to celebrate. I like the fact that whenever, like,
I mean, as far as mommy has money in the house, we'll be
chill.
balling. I mean, I think once I had a party and you had even asked me, like, oh, what was that party for? What is your birthday? And I was just like, no, we're just gathering friends.
And good. It looked so good.
We have another one coming up soon. Okay. So my friends, we have to do a fufu party. Like, as far as God gives us life, we have a little bit whenever you can.
That's it. I actually your friends also celebrated you during your wedding anniversary.
Yes.
That was really cool as well.
Right? So there'll always be occasions. Stuff comes really up. Cool. Yeah. Like in my house, I tell them all the time, because we don't celebrate birthdays or Christmas, we are going to celebrate every other thing. So the day you guys got your Canadian citizenship, we're celebrating that day. First day of school anniversary, we're celebrating that day. First day of whatever, we're celebrating that day. Like we just try to make it as whatever as possible. Like recently, my husband and I celebrated the day that we met. So we celebrated 10 years, March 28th, because I met him 2014. So we went out, we had a little cake. We went for dinner, like it was a burn away cake. When you put the flame on it, then the picture is revealed.
Okay.
We just create
I'll see you back door for that.
And we just, we create our moments.
I love that. Thank you so much, Afua.
Thank you for having me.
I learned so much. Thank you.
It's been wonderful. Thank you, Eno.
Welcome.